Prismatic Hunters are friggin' wild right now, we all know it, with 18 subclass choices on the table. Nearly 50% of all players in endgame PvP activities are choosing Prismatic Hunter. Now, this video is not a conversation about whether or not they're busted and they need nerfs. This video is about how you can deal with them consistently, and I've got a build tailor-made for the job. In this video, I'm going to break down this build that makes sure you've got 4 dodge charges, all of which deal damage in some way, shape, or form, and are not limited to ground or air use. The idea is that you can kite out the abilities of the hunters and leave them with no other option but to use their firearm, something many of them seem to struggle with. But before we break this thing down, we gotta say thank you to today's video sponsor. You know it's Raid Shadow Legends. Hey, can I let you guys in on a little secret? Tons of mainstream YouTubers actually play Raid Shadow Legends. Now, I know, you're probably ready to drag your finger across the screen to skip this part of the video going bullshit under your breath. But it's true, in like private DMs with content creators, I've seen many admit that they still play Raid just to unplug and relax, and it's honestly not that surprising given that Raid has over 4 million users, constant monthly updates, absurdly high review scores in the store, and the fact that you can play cross-platform. Play on your PC, then go climb into bed and fire it up on your phone. It's super convenient. But you're not going to want to miss out on the chance to dive in right now because of 2 major opportunities. First, Raid is bringing back for a limited time only the Ninja Champion, which was so good on release, people have been begging for them to release him again for over 3 years. And all you gotta do to get this legendary champ is download the game using my link and enter the promo code Ninja Returns. And if you're a new player, you'll have a killer legendary champ to get you started in your Raid journey. And lastly, if you download the game using my links today as a new player, you're going to get a ton of in-game loot to get you rolling, and more for hitting level 25, as well as a killer boss deeps champion called Vergis, and then at level 25, Rector Drath 2. So it's time to dive into the game and start winning and earning free stuff. Click the link in the description to get started. Alright, let's get back to the video. Alright, Prismatic Hunters, are they ruining your fun in PvP? Are you tired of seeing 3 of them in a row at the beginning of your Trials matches? Are you sick of having a smoke grenade be the very first thing you see in every PvP match? Well, I got something for you. This is my quad dodge Titan build meant specifically for taking out Prismatic Hunters. Let me break down the basic idea here first and foremost. To have a good plan, you need to understand your enemy. So a Prismatic Hunter's primary actions include smoke grenades, swarm grenades, and threaded specters. These things in conjunction basically mean every corner on the map is a trap where you're going to get slowed, blinded, hit with proximity damage, tagged by threadlings, and scorched with seekers from the swarm grenade. And if by some miracle you're still alive after all that, the hunter is most likely just going to clean you up with one shot from a shotgun from any range because you're probably running on empty when it comes to hit points. The threaded specter can't be waited out either because many of these hunters have it on a 9-second cooldown, so good luck with that. So how can you deal with this if you can't push a corner? Well, the Prismatic Titan specifically has the best all-around kit to table all of these abilities. We've got the thruster ability on a short cooldown, and 3 charges of Frenzied Blade. Now, Frenzied Blade may look like a melee attack meant for doing damage. It can be that, but that's not really what it's meant for. Frenzied Blade, for all intents and purposes, is a hunter dodge. It's a dodge that is immediate, but it can be performed in the air or on the ground. It's especially good at baiting out fusion rifle shots and shotgun blasts meant to finish you off. If you notice only one thing in this video, notice the number of times this dodge saves my life and leaves some poor sap looking goofy with a special weapon with 0 ammo left in his hands. Frenzied Blade and thrusters are so valuable in this sandbox for not only baiting out the special ammo, but also for evading all of the hunter traps. Think of the enemy hunter as a spider, right? Perched safely in its corner or its hidey hole. It has its web out there, and it's waiting patiently for any indication that something is ensnared in its web that it can pounce on. So when you approach a corner and there's a smoke grenade or a swarm grenade or a threaded specter, we actually want to activate that trap. It's almost like we're tugging on the spider's web, saying, hey, come out here, come get me, I'm stuck in your trap. And the hunter then becomes the prey. See, with all these dodge charges, our movement is no longer restricted by the smokes and all that stuff. The hunter is going to push now that they think we're caught in their trap, but they recklessly push only to find that we're not actually blinded. We're not actually all that weak at all. If they have a shotgun out, which they likely will, we can simply activate another dodge to juke the shot, and now we have the advantage. I'm choosing to use a sidearm because A, I love sidearms, but B, I find them exceptional weapons for baiting rushers into spaces they can't actually dominate in. I'm using the open sky above them, I'm backpedaling with my thrusters without actually turning my back to the enemy hunter. I'm putting them in a position where they're forced to swap off of their special and try their primary weapon. And for many a Prismatic Hunter, that's a very tall ask. Now, I can't make any promises about your teammates. You may very well still lose your matches, but I can guarantee that you won't be a detriment yourself, and you'll be able to put up a great fight and stand your own ground against these teams for sure. Let's hit the components of the build really quickly. As you can tell, I'm definitely using the hazardous propulsion because we're going to be storing up missiles, and then with every thruster dodge, we're adding another damaging variable into the mix that will help us deal with the pushing hunter or enemy in general. I don't care if you have 1 missile cooldown or 6, use your thruster when you need to. You can totally run Abeyant Leap though, as that's also extremely effective in this build with spawning a Seeking Tangle that suspends enemies. Then in our Prismatic kit, we're definitely running Thrusters and Frenzied Blade, as I mentioned before, as well as Dranger's Lash and Unstoppable. I find Unstoppable to be extremely funny and useful, but only very situationally useful, but the payoff is definitely worth keeping it on. I'm rocking Suppressor Grenades because shutting down the new Arc Hunter Super with a suppressor is arguably the best way to deal with them. They broadcast where they're going to be teleporting to. You put the grenade there so that when they land and do their attack, they come out of it with no more super energy because the suppressor detonates on them. And then I'm using Facet of Solitude so that I can make tangles with precision hits that I can then detonate in a big way with the artifact perk, Threaded Blast. You can freeze frame and see the other fragments here as well, but you got a lot of freedom here to make it to your liking. For weapons, I'm usually using the Trespasser primarily, because we're going to be dueling up close and I want to chain those unrepentant bursts as much as possible to keep them reeling from our momentum. Also, it's accurate and easy to use from the ground and from the air as well. For my kinetic slot, I'm definitely going to be running a strand weapon. I like round robin and different times depending on the map, and if I get a really long range map, I can run the Terrazippos as well. So that there is the whole build. Now to see it in action. I'm going to play a handful of clips now. They really show off everything working together seamlessly. And I want you to really dial in on how the dodges keep us engaged with the hunter while eliminating the threat of their several abilities. We don't have to leave. We don't have to pull out. We don't have to run away and come back another time because of all their abilities. We can zip around them and take advantage of their overconfidence in their abilities to do the heavy lifting for them. Meanwhile, our abilities will require rapid reactions, smart execution, and adaptability. So you may have to run this build for a while before you really start to train your brain to understand how you can move in real time. Keep an eye on your charges, run max resilience and max strength to get them back more quickly, and go make some hunters look silly. Thank you so much for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like, as that's the best free way to support the content here on YouTube. If you're one of the 100+ new subs to my channel who came over from the Elden Ring video series that I've been doing, hey, thank you so much for coming by. If you haven't yet checked that series out, I encourage you to give it a shot, even if you're not a Souls gamer. It's my first ever Souls experience, and it's actually been hilariously fun to stream and edit. All that stuff as an FPS veteran, sort of diving in for the first time. So stop by the Twitch channel sometime for the live streams at twitch.tv/thetruevanguard and follow the page for notifications of when we go live. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.
Double down. Your legend grows. 3 opponents down. Fantastic work. Zone A lost. Fight until the Enemy claims Zone A. Zone C captured. On. Zone C captured. Double down. They captured. Power play. Keep the pressure on. 3 minutes. Hold strong, and this battle is yours. Wage war like a true titan. Lost. Enemy has advantage. Zone advantage is